At 0741 local time, 4F-35 tore themselves off the runway at Ramon Air Base, their engines howling as they clawed into the morning sky. Venom 1 through 4 formed up almost instantly, sliding into a tight, disciplined formation as they pushed eastward toward Iranian airspace. Ahead of them lay Tehran, and buried inside it, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps space headquarters, a nerve center feeding targeting data directly into Iran's ballistic missile network. Every second that facility remained operational meant more missiles finding their marks. Everything about the strike package had been designed to be invisible. Altitude, routing, timing, emissions discipline, every variable calculated to slip through the most hostile airspace on Earth without leaving a trace. But invisibility was never absolute. Not here. Not today. Southeast of Tehran, a single Iranian air defense battery sat in silence. Cold, dark, patient. It had not emitted a signal in 8 days. It had watched as every other system that dared to radiate had been hunted down and erased within minutes. Its commander had learned the lesson. Survival meant restraint. And restraint meant waiting for the one moment that mattered. Over western Iran, that moment began to take shape. Inside Venom 1, the threat warning receiver snapped to life with a sharp, unmistakable tone. A radar burst. Short, precise, then gone. The cockpit fell silent again, but the meaning hung in the air. They had been seen, if only for a second. 40 kilometers later, another burst. Different bearing, different angle. The picture sharpened instantly in the pilot's mind. They weren't being tracked by one system. They were being handed off one radar, lighting them up just long enough to pass their position to the next. Each operator careful not to linger long enough to invite destruction. It was disciplined, coordinated. And it meant someone down there was learning. Then everything changed. Venom 3's cockpit lit up in amber warnings, cascading across the pilot's helmet display, turbine inlet temperature spiking, climbing past safe limits. The single F-135 engine, the only thing keeping that aircraft in the air, began throttling itself back automatically to prevent catastrophic failure. 15% thrust gone in an instant. Over friendly territory, it would have been an inconvenience, a maintenance issue, a return to base, and a debrief over lunch. Over Iran, it was a death sentence waiting to happen. Venom lead didn't hesitate. Venom 3, you're out. Venom 4, escort. 2 jets peeled away from the formation, banking southwest and slipping onto an emergency corridor toward Iraqi airspace. No afterburners, no aggressive maneuvers. Just a careful, controlled retreat, nursing a wounded engine through hostile skies. The strike package had just been cut in half. Venom 1 checked the mission clock. 9 minutes to the initial point, 3 minutes from there to weapons release. 12 minutes total, flying straight and predictable, with no margin for error and no ability to maneuver aggressively without compromising their stealth. Ahead of them, Tehran waited. And below, someone else was watching the gap left behind by Venom 3 and 4, doing the same math. Inside Venom 1 and 2, the weapons officers stared at the new numbers. 8 bombs, 4 targets. No redundancy, no second chances. The IRGC space headquarters wasn't a single building, it was a compound. Multiple structures, rooftop antenna arrays linking satellites in orbit to the men controlling them below. Control rooms managing orbital parameters. Server levels holding encryption keys. 16 bombs would have erased it cleanly. They had 8. Decisions came fast. Antennas first. Control rooms second. Server infrastructure third. 1 bomb per priority. No overlap. 45 seconds. That was all it took to replan a strike that would normally take half an hour. That wasn't improvisation. That was training under pressure, executed flawlessly. But even as the plan locked in, the battlefield shifted again. A cascade of deconfliction updates rippled across the strike wave. Dozens of aircraft, all converging on Tehran from different vectors, all invisible to each other by design. The loss of 2 jets forced a rebalancing of altitude blocks across the entire operation. Venom 1 and 2 were pushed lower, 3,000 feet lower than planned, 3,000 feet closer to every weapon on the ground, and directly into the engagement envelope of a system they thought had been silent for good reason. Southeast of the city, the Cordad 1-5 battery came alive. Its electro-optical tracker had already found them two faint thermal signatures cutting through the cold upper atmosphere like searchlights. The commander watched them drift closer. 35 kilometers. 33. He waited. Then, for 3 seconds, he broke his own rule. The Naheed 804 radar lit up. Just long enough. Inside Venom 1, the response was immediate. The aircraft's electronic warfare suite, over 30 antennas spread across its airframe, captured the emission, classified it, and geolocated it within meters. In 3 seconds, the Iranian commander had revealed everything: his position, his system, his capabilities. But knowing where he was didn't solve the problem. The formation was already inside his engagement envelope. Below, the commander shut his radar off again, returning to silence. His electro-optical tracker continued to follow the targets. 31 kilometers. He understood the stakes. Every radar that stayed on too long died. Every battery that hesitated lost its chance. He had one window, one shot, 30 seconds of radar time before something moving at Mach 3 erased him from the map. He powered up the system again, this time at full strength. The radar operator fought through interference, trying to lock on to contacts that flickered in and out of existence. Jamming flooded the display. Partial solutions formed, then dissolved into static. 20 seconds. 10. Then, for a heartbeat, the noise cleared. 2 contacts. Clean, solid. 31 kilometers. His hand moved toward the firing panel. Too late. The AGM-88E harm had already been launched. It came in low, below the radar horizon, invisible until the final seconds. By the time the Iranian crew realized what was happening, it was already too close. The missile didn't care that the radar shut off. It didn't care that the signal was gone. It remembered. Coordinates locked. Target fixed. The warhead detonated with surgical violence, shredding the antenna array and turning the radar truck into twisted metal. 8 days of discipline ended in less than a second. The last guided threat over Tehran disappeared. But the danger was far from over. As Venom 1 and 2 pressed toward the city, the sky erupted beneath them. Anti-aircraft fire surged upward, ZSU-232 cannons hammering rounds into the sky, heavy machine guns tracing arcs of red light across the darkness. None of it was guided. None of it needed to be. It was volume, chaos, probability. Inside the cockpits, the distributed aperture system painted the entire battle space in real time. Every tracer, every arc, every threat rendered directly onto the pilot's visors. It looked like a fireworks display designed to kill. The pilots adjusted subtly, threading through gaps, avoiding the densest concentrations of fire without deviating from their path. Ahead, the target. Behind them, no support. Inside the weapons systems, another battle was unfolding. GPS signals degraded, noise levels rising. Iranian electronic warfare systems flooded the spectrum, trying to blind the incoming bombs before they were even released. The bomb bay doors opened. For 3 seconds, the aircraft's stealth profile bloomed its radar signature, spiking just long enough for every surviving sensor in the region to catch a glimpse. 8 GBU. 3 9 small-diameter bombs dropped into the air. The doors slammed shut. The jets turned west. Now the bombs were on their own. They fell silently, wings deploying as they transitioned into a glide. No propulsion, no engine. Just guidance systems fighting to stay locked onto a target in an increasingly hostile electromagnetic environment. Jamming tried to drown them. Spoofing tried to mislead them, but the bombs adapted. Encrypted military GPS signals cut through the noise, intermittent but real. Each verified fix pulled the navigation system back on course, correcting drift, resisting deception. 12 seconds to impact. 10. 5. The guidance tightened, shifting from coordinates to precision. Rooftop, structure, antenna. Impact. The first bomb punched through the antenna array, severing the uplink to satellites overhead mid-transmission. The second slammed into the control room, destroying the systems managing orbital data. The third buried itself in the server infrastructure, annihilating encryption systems. The fourth completed the collapse. Above the Earth, satellites continued their orbits, sending signals to a location that no longer existed. No response. No acknowledgement. Just silence. Back over Tehran, Venom 1 and 2 disappeared into the horizon. Mission complete. No fanfare. No confirmation beyond what they already knew. 4 bombs. 1 address. And just like that, an entire layer of Iran's military capability went dark.